Welcome everyone. Pine Grove News Live. Thought I'd come out and talk to you about a couple things. It's going to be brief, guaranteed. Just gotta wait and wait until we're live, till I know it's going to make a difference. I could come out with the video anyway. It doesn't matter. So, with that, okay, now it's live. So, all right, basically what I want to do. You see in the background, all right, lots of stories, all about, the riots, peaceful protests. Just wanted to show you that. And if I can get back, I want to bring this to your attention. This sorry, I got to bring this out here first. I believe I already did, but anyway, and so let's get back to this one. What happened there? That was strange, wasn't it? So anyway, New Jersey, 101.5. Just a story that was passed to me through Facebook. Don't know if it's true. It hasn't been tagged for being false as under political fact checks. So I don't know why they have to call them white, but they're doing it because I don't know. They're what everyone's doing is letting the powers that be right now separate us even more so, and that's not what we should be doing. Should be standing up, yes, to these powers, these brutal police killings, murders, whatever they are. They're just brutal. Military style training, obviously. You remember the Obama era when they got all the free, military equipment. You remember when Obama pulled supposedly our troops out of Iraq and left all our equipment there for the ISIS? Well, he's been given during his reign. He gave away lots of military equipment to anybody or any police station that asked for it, free of charge. So it didn't cost them anything, first of all. But the point is that they've been radically changed or trained over the past couple of years, past few years, quite a few years. And it's more like a military, just shoot to kill. And that's what it is. And I don't think, as it's all over the news, as everyone's talking about it. Cut the police or defund the police? Are you serious, people? Look at the lawlessness out there right now. You think by taking the police off the streets that you're going to have less lawlessness? You've seen The Purge, right? The movie The Purge? That's what it's going to be like all the time. All the time. And I think well, maybe one way to get rid of the elite, right? Or send them into their tunnels and let us all kill each other. That's what will happen. Defund the police. You can't be serious. Now, I know people are in pain, and a lot will not wake up. They won't wake up. And I'm going to read a scripture later on that Amir Sephardi spoke of in Romans in a minute, and it tells all. So here we have a white victim, and there were many other victims. Okay, and this just happens to be the headline for this New Jersey 101.5. White victim of radical attacks dies. Now, where's the outrage for him? Where's the outrage for the officers that they killed, or other people that were injured? I don't get it. I just wanted to show you that. You can read the article. I will include it. Okay. I don't want to read something somebody else said right now. I just want to speak from my heart and where I'm coming from. So I'm going to try to stay out of that. But I will play this for you. This is Headlines with a Voice. Somebody also sent me this, so we're going to play this in full. And I'm testing something out here because it is very hot and muggy here. Had to put on a darn shirt. Usually I come home and take, my work clothes and get rid of them. Too darn hot. But the fan's going in the background. So I'm just wondering if you can hear that. You shouldn't be able to hear it. But in any case, we will see. So I'll play this for you.
Been brought to my attention within the last 10 minutes that there are people impersonating National Guardsmen among us here in California. There's a video clip making its way through the Twitter community showing well over a dozen National Guardsmen on their knees in the middle of an intersection. It might be somewhere on Wilshire Boulevard. It's hard for me to tell exactly where the video was recorded, but it's definitely somewhere in Los Angeles County or Santa Monica.
I'll show you the video.
It's the consensus of former intel and military that this signals an extremely dangerous move forward in the coup. From mismatched unit patches to their footwear, something's off. One Twitter user stated that they're wearing the patch of the 1st Infantry that's stationed in Kansas, and said a National Guard unit would not be associated with a non-Guard division, and concluded that a prop department with uniforms on hand wouldn't know the difference. I'm guessing that they actually meant a wardrobe department, but that's not the point. In the 24-second long video clip, you can hear a woman's voice off camera in the first 3 or 4 seconds of the clip, alerting the kneeling National Guardsmen, actors, traitors, that the feed is about to go live. She says pics are hot.
Yeah, and so we're going to go to that video. But she just mentioned traitors there, okay? First of all, if there's somebody else in Guards props or wardrobes or however that they got the uniforms, are they military? The only way that they can be traitors, right, is if they're military, or can they be traitors? I don't know. First of all, can't you get in big trouble for wearing and impersonating a serviceman? I mean, just like you can get in trouble for wearing a police officer's uniform, right? Impersonating a police officer. So I don't get it. But I've talked to somebody about this after I saw this clip, and we're both in agreement. There were in days past and other videos and articles, we talked about the UN, at least vehicles, that were on rail trains. Where they were going to, nobody knows. We do build things for other, military items for other countries. That's a big business for us. But where's the brown shirt army that Obama? Remember, he said he was building an army, and he's right down the street supposedly from Pennsylvania, on Pennsylvania Avenue. I don't know if any of that's true. It was stated before. But anyway, let's go find the video. Forgot where I found it the last time. Well, let's go to this link, which is the website, I believe. And it should be available right here. So let's go look at the video. No, it's a Twitter. It's a tweet. Yeah, still up. So.
Pics are hot.
Let's start that over.
Pics are hot.
Yeah, so I did hear pics are hot. They haven't changed anything that they were doing.
Pics are hot.
And I want to thank John Cardiello for that tweet. And I don't know. I know I'm probably just stupid, but what does the kneeling down actually mean? I really don't know. I probably knew yesterday, but I do not know today. I mean, why are the guardsmen, military, and the police officers kneeling, taking a knee to the protesters? Why? And first of all, I would never do that. The only knee that's going to be, my knee is going to be bowed to or bent to is my Lord. And that's Jesus Christ. That's the only one. Not anybody else. No way. Not even not the president, not the Pope, nobody. No, they're just men. Anyway. So, been a lot of talk about, well, first of all, let's go to Romans. Let's see. Let's go to Romans 13, and it's just a couple of verses, 1 through 4. So the headline up here is submission to the authorities. Man, when it gets muggy and dry, not dry, when it gets muggy and hot, I always have to have water. So in Romans 13:1, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. Now see, because I had these questions too, and I remember Jesus saying that before, about who we should be, should we be following the laws of the land, like Daniel back then. And when he didn't follow is when it came to, worshiping the idol that was put out there. So let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that are ordained of God. You remember we all prayed for them. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to do good works, but to do evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou that have praise of the same. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the word in vain. For he is the minister of God, a revenger, to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. So he put these people in power, you know that. Everything is ordained, it says right there, by God, and you need to listen to him. And I need a attitude adjustment. Because I had many problems with powers that be. And any case, we won't get into that. So remember that. That's in Romans 13, 1 through 4. Submission to the authorities. And that just goes to say, you can't go out there and riot and kill people and destroy people's properties, burn down businesses. You can't do it. The law says that you can't, so you can't. And the only thing that, anyways, we won't get into the religious part of it because they're not supposed to be involved in that either. So anyways, you heard about the president and his Insurrection Act, Posse Comitatus. We're going to go look over this very briefly. The Insurrection Act, when the 101st Airborne invaded Little Rock, Kansas. This is from Signs of the Last Days on his blog. So I wanted to go find out what this Insurrection Act was. And this Posse Comitatus that they mentioned. I had no idea what it meant. I seen it in the movies, and what was it? The Patriot with Mel Gibson. Remember that? I believe it was mentioned back then. Still don't know what it means. So anyways, what does Posse Comitatus mean? Okay, an act is the primary statute restricting military support to civilian law enforcement. Posse Comitatus power does not belong exclusively to sheriffs, but the power was originally created for them, and they remain its most frequent users. And they got some more stuff down here. The Posse Comitatus Act is a United States federal law signed on June 18th, 1878 by President Rutherford Hayes. The purpose of the act, in concert with the Insurrection Act of 1807, is to limit the powers of the federal government in using federal military personnel to enforce domestic policies within the United States. Okay, and except in the point of insurrection. And it's been used by other presidents in different times, and some have been recent. So the Insurrection Act, when the 101st Airborne invaded Little Rock, Kansas. So, could the president order military troops into the streets of American cities over the objections of local and state officials? And according to the news, there's a lot of generals who are objecting to it too. But you know what? He could do it. By law, under the Insurrection Act, he can do it. And he's threatened to do it if the governors don't do, whatever they need to do. In any case, let's see. When people usually refer to the Posse Comitatus Act, signed into law in 1878, which prohibited the use of military in civilian manners as the reason why, but the president consented troops, and it happened before. 1957, President Eisenhower. He ordered the famous 101st Airborne, Little Rock, Arkansas. And Eisenhower took over the state guards as he federalized the entire Arkansas National Guard under his control. So Airborne enforced a court order permitting the 9 black students to attend a previously all-white high school. President Kennedy and Johnson later used the same legal authority to enforce court orders for desegregation in several southern states. So the reason these presidents were able to send the troops on domestic soil is because of the exemptions of the Posse Comitatus Act. So over time, Congress has passed at least 26 exemptions to the act that allows the president to send troops into the states. And one of these exemptions is considered to be the Insurrection Act, which governs certain circumstances when the president can use the military in the U.S. So the Insurrection Act says that the president may use the armed forces to subdue an insurrection or rebellion and take such measures as he considers necessary to suppress violence, and that he beforehand must issue a proclamation ordering insurgents to disperse and return to their homes. They've been warned. I don't know if he came directly out and did that, but maybe that's the next thing coming. And this has happened before, and not long ago, apparently 1992, the last time, when the California National Guard were federalized to deal with the rioting in Los Angeles. We all keep referring back to them. I, with my brother, who's a truck driver, okay, he goes coast to coast. He actually went 90 miles out of his way over there in California. He didn't want a repeat of what that UPS driver went through. And look what happened in Los Angeles when they pulled that white guy, okay, the white guy. I mean, I really hate that stuff. I hate this white guy, this black guy, African American. Why call him an African American? Why don't you call me an Indian American or a Greek American? Why African American? Why is it only the blacks that we have to call African American? How about you just tell me your name and I'll call you that? That's it. Give me a break. Come on, we don't owe them anything else. The statistics out there, it just doesn't support. Well, the killing of Floyd was, I don't know what to say, man. it was murder, yeah. So, did it justify everything that's going on right now? I don't think so. There are just people out there who are just, and like we said, the spirit of lawlessness is out there, and it's growing and growing. And I believe it is in scripture, in prophecy, of these things that are going to happen, and you're seeing it right before your eyes. I have nothing. I have nothing against anybody. I really don't. Maybe in time I did. I used to, dislike people a lot. But I'm just telling you, you meet Jesus and your life has changed. Believe me, it can't help but be changed. And so I pray that for you, that you get to know Jesus and have a relationship with him and the Holy Spirit, who will teach you all these things that you need to know. Still time, but it's short. So with that one, everyone, I hope that did it for you. Go to Signs of the Times. I'm going to leave a link or two, but that's it. But I got to leave you with this one. Okay. This is what I put out yesterday. It's 1 minute, 18 seconds. It's Mighty Mouse on the rocket, SpaceX rocket heading towards space. Okay. Flying the rockets.
Saturday, May 30th, 2020, a
It's
live
so
feed
funny.
was aired by news and government outlets showing SpaceX and NASA collaborating to launch two astronauts, Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley, into orbit to join the International Space Station. The launch finally took place at the Launch Complex 39A in Florida after a weather delay on May 27th, 3 days earlier. Many viewers noticed a small rodent crawling across the Merlin engine during the broadcast. While that sounds cute in itself, the moment this rodent made his live TV appearance was after the rocket carrying the two astronauts had achieved an altitude of 200 kilometers, which is approximately 124 miles high.
Right
and
there.
the craft was traveling 13,000 kilometers per hour, which is 8,000 miles an hour, or Mach 10. The rodent moving around on the engine metal was seemingly unaffected by the immense speed, air friction, extreme temperatures, or lack
Mighty
of
Mouse.
oxygen. Saturday's footage leaves many clear-thinking scientists and
Here
physicists
I am
to question the
to save
validity
the
of these
day.
claims in media productions. A mouse
was
shouldn't
that?
be casually
Was that the
walking
mounted
across the
police?
middle
I don't
engine
know.
of a craft, supposedly
Mighty
traveling at
Mouse.
Mach 10 with no breathable air. Are these launches real? Tell us what you think. For this
So, God bless everyone. Have a great evening. See you tomorrow night.